Staff video time. The staff that all channers should be shooting for obviously is none other than
Welcome, Deva.
dun dun dun, dun the Arbiter's staff. Because my god, that weapon is amazing. But no, seriously, nobody can use that as a channer because there will never be a channer governor ever, I think. And if there is, then there's a serious problem going on. But that's another topic entirely. Sorry to crush everyone's hope and dreams at the very start, I just had to be a little troll. There are a lot of weapon choices in 4.0. It's good because we don't have to feel restricted to the same kind of weapon. It also can be kind of overwhelming, so I wanted to start off by talking about potential combines.
Nice to meet you.
The first, of course, is none other than the AP Combine. AP weapons have always had a history of being good combine weapons. This is no exception, just look at the stats it gives. It's not too bad as a main weapon, but I'd probably just consider it a good combine weapon. It has like 81 attack or crit strike, 51 attack. There's a laugh in the background. And 13.5% PvP attack. The only problem is that you have to farm 143 medals and a certain amount of AP that is less than the value shown there. I'm going to move over to the staff that I consider the number 1 combine now. This of course is the Bloodmark staff. Very easy to get, like all the Bloodmark gear.
Welcome, Deva.
Now the weapon here actually has a little bit less stats, but I mean for something that's practically free because these are so easy to farm, this is an awesome combine. It's miles above the Coliseum C2 staff, that's for sure, because it has crit strike, and that's the biggest selling point. So I'd definitely use this at any opportunity as a combine. Lastly, I put on the Balak crafted staff because it actually has PvP attack. This isn't really realistic, and you'd have to be hardcore to make this, and even more hardcore to make it a combine. But I have it there because, you know, it's a possibility. Alright, I think that does it for combines. The next two staffs are Extendable. Now, you might ask yourself, why would I use an Extendable? Well, the answer lies in the name. There are two, but they are the same staff with a different name. One is called the Furious Longtooth Staff, and the other is the Longtooth Catalium Staff. The difference, of course, is that the Furious one comes from the DLR upgrade, and everything else is shared by both crafts, or morphs. You need items from instances like Fury Powder, stuff you can farm, anima ore, bite crystals, which my understanding is you buy this with AP, then a reliable rarefied rod, which you just have to craft. The difference is also that the weapon shard for the one you make from scratch, I believe comes from Sauro 5 key, which is basically impossible as far as I know right now. I don't know who actually beats that instance with 5 keys. It's a pretty painful run. Oh, you use a different rod as well, okay. The stats on the weapons are actually slightly better than the Extendable, like very slightly better. The base damage increases by a couple points, the crit by 1, HP by 5, parry by 1. So it's not a giant upgrade in damage or anything, it's just the weapon you can use it at a better level. I guess the base stats overall increase by a little bit, but it's nothing significant. Okay, that does it for the Extendable staffs. Now we move on to the more quote-unquote normal weapons. There are a lot of these, and I had to pick the ones that I thought would be good goals or fairly obtainable. I know there are more weapons, but I just think these ones stood out. Okay, the first one is called the Remodeled Danube Arcane. This one costs 3,700 plus ancient coins that you can farm from the last zone called Idian Depths. They're kind of annoying to farm once you get past all the quests, and it will take a while. If you actually do instances like Danube Reliquary and I think Infinity Shard, you can get ancient coins rewards. But yeah, the staff is actually pretty boss for an Eternal. Look at that base damage, 298 to 432. That's pretty strong. And the stats it gives you are honestly not bad. The only thing it's missing, of course, is crit strike. You get a grand total of 9. That's the one downfall. It's just the fact that it has no crit strike. But going back to the Balak staff, I actually have the just recipe saved right here, and you have to proc it, and I believe there are a couple of levels before it too. So again, if you want to use that, then go for it, but I don't think it's worth using as a main weapon. I'm just putting it here because it exists. Lunatic Modor Staff. The base stats are pretty nice. What else? Oh, it requires tuning. The stats on it are actually parry, HP, crit, attack, accuracy, and attack speed. They vary, and it'll be random. You can get 5 slot or 6 slot. I don't know if the jet level varies. It might be able to go to plus 15. But yeah, those are random. So you could get a mythical weapon with really low stats, which would be unfortunate, but could happen because it's the game. Moving on to the next stat, we have a choice between Enraged, Hyperions, and Incensed. As a Channer, you want Enraged because the stats on this one are actually the physical ones. You get a really nice amount of crit strike, but the attack is kind of low. That being said, if I got this, I would definitely use it regardless. It's kind of unfortunate that you're missing about 30 attack, but it looks like a good weapon to be honest. So yeah, I mean I wouldn't really prefer it, but if I got it, I wouldn't complain. Basically how it goes. Did I already say it's from the 12 man? If I didn't, then it's from the 12 man. But that should give it away by the name because Hyperion is the boss in 12 man. Next we have the lovely Danuar Reliquary Expedition staff. This comes from the quest from Danuar Reliquary if you are unable to get a weapon drop after 20 runs. I'm 4 off from being able to get this. It's basically the mythical staff from Danuar Reliquary except with all the minimum stats possible. So the crit strike's low, the attack's low, the attack speed's low, everything's low. But if you give up on RNG and you get this and you keep trying but you still can't get a weapon, it wouldn't be bad to use. Oh boy, no, how could I forget this one? This is of course the Exalted Noble Catalium staff. It has boss-based stats and secondary stats. You have to craft this one, and there are 7 crafts in front of it, I believe. Yeah, 7. 4 of them you have to actually proc, 3 of them I think you can just make, but it's a painful staff to make. And if you can actually go through making this, then I salute you, and you are an amazing crafter. But that's like the dream weapon. Finally, I just have Rata's staff here. It comes from a world boss, and I think it's in the Idian depths, and it's an okay weapon. I wouldn't use it because it doesn't really give too much, but if you just want a cheap staff that's decent enough, then you can go for this one. So if you wanted to know my list, I want the Modor staff, or yeah, it's Modor. And if not that, then I'll default to using the Reliquary. Alright, so I've done my staff talk. Whew, that's a lot. Gonna have to make a video, edit it all nice, and add all the stuff. But yeah, get farming guys, and if you haven't gotten 4.0 yet and you're in Europe, then prepare, or yeah, be prepared for the farm. Because it's gonna be nasty. Alright, take care everyone.